TV's hottest reality show. For 4 seasons, more than 30 million viewers have tuned in to find out if love really is blind. The concept is provocative. Singles meet and are kept in individual pods during dates. They are only allowed to come face to face after they're engaged.
You're literally nothing like I would have expected.
Why?
But these former cast members say behind the scenes, Love is Blind is more like love is toxic.
I would say the whole experience is hell on earth.
It was horrible.
Danielle Rule says she thought she had found true love when she tied the knot with Nick Thompson during season 2. But she says the stress of the show, in part, led to their divorce 18 months later.
It's both the physical and emotional manipulation tactics that they use put you in a deep low.
I felt worse than I've ever felt in my life.
Danielle says she was surprised she even passed the show's mental health evaluation.
After I had told him about my previous suicide attempts, his response is, well, it seems like you're fine now.
Do you think that this show preys on vulnerable people?
Yes.
A former cast member from Love is Blind is launching a class action lawsuit against them. He accuses production of depriving them access to a phone, food, or any other type of contact with the outside world, which
I didn't at all expect what actually went down and what happened, which was quite a bit more psychological torture, manipulation, and just basically exploitation.
This whole entire experiment is designed to break you down to your most unhealed and most damaged version of yourself so that they can exploit you for free labor, essentially.
Hey guys, it's me here, Comrade Lavender here, and today I'm back with another anti-capitalism true crime deep dive YouTube video topic. Today I want to do the pure evil, the Love is Blind reality TV show files, deep dive, colorism, racism, lawsuits, reality TV exploitation, wage theft, sexual assault, misogyny, etc., controversial moments, etc. So let's get started in this YouTube video topic. But before we get started, all my YouTube videos that relate to this topic, all the reality TV show videos that I've done will be on the screen right now if you'd like to check them out. So let's get started in this YouTube video topic. Created by Chris Colin for Netflix, Love and Blind quickly became one of the reality TV's most popular dating shows when it premiered in 2020 during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic. The series sets up single men and women to date blindly, getting to know each other via pods separated by a wall that looks like an installation in the Miami Art Basel toilets. They don't get to see each other at all, nor can they describe their looks until they become engaged. As they live together and eventually make it to the altar, they must decide of whether or not they want to say I do and prove that love really is blind. Colorism is on full display in Love is Blind Mexico. With any reality TV dating show you watch with a wince, bracing yourself for the cringe moments, the delicious drama, or the straight-up offensive moments that set off the group chat and timelines. That's the draw. Reality TV is meant to reflect our world as a sort of funhouse mirror, but anyone who tunes in knows that the genre tends to cast back a very white world. One of the latest of Netflix's cultural expansions of their series Love is Blind, which now has versions in several countries, including Japan, Brazil, and the United Kingdom, bring on the frescas. What we got instead was a group of mostly white, metropolitan frescas using words like Daytano and Chacarita and full osa voices as they navigate the blind dating experiment. Still, some fans have denied a lack of diversity on the show, with one TikTok user calling the criticism ignorance from Mexicans in the United States. Noting the casting actually displays an accurate representation of what Mexicans in Mexico look like and how we come in all colors and flavors. It's frustrating because these arguments are more often made for the purpose of educating people that Mexicans can also be blonde and blue-eyed, as if we're never seen on a television. The casting of this series seems to be more concerned with this level of diversity, and the criticism amplifies the false belief of color blindness and mesquite that premates Mexican culture. It wasn't just a casting where colorism reared its ugly head. When Iris Ramirez, a 30-year-old lawyer, laid eyes on her second-choice suitor, hot Dr. Renee Angeles, something felt off. She looked stunned. In her confessionals, she remarked that Rain has the face of a Chito Malo and looks like someone who parties a lot. Yes, he has a nose ring and his pierced ears, but the man is a doctor, standing there in a suit looking fine as hell. She was more concerned about his looks than the fact that he has zero savings and preferred to spend his money freely without a concern for a financial safety net. That Ramirez is very fair-skinned and Angeles has a darker skin complexion made many fans believe that the dater's immediate ick was rooted in colorism, and called her out, rightfully so, for it on social media. I agree that it was coded language, said Eva del La Rivera Lopez, a professor of psychology at Oakton Community College in Illinois who has written on anti-blackness and colorism in Mexico. It is the Mexican equivalent to He Looks Urban. Throughout the series, contestants will also casually comment on their partner's skin tone and color, and note their preferences in skin color. In one episode, digital marketing manager Willie Salmon, 34, tells spin instructor Francesca Otter how much he likes her Peniel Apanota or lightly tanned skin. Fernando Hernandez, a 27-year-old operations manager, also noted his preferences for Maritas with black hair when talking to two separate contestants, including a woman he'd end up with, financial advisor and single mom Karen Todes. But just as in the UK, where female dating show contestants have the tendency to describe their ideal man as tall, dark, and handsome, when they mean someone who looks like Jacob Elordi, white, tall, with brown hair, it was clear Fernando didn't mean a black woman when he was communicating his preferences for Maritas. And while Torres does have darker skin than the majority of the fair-skinned cast, she wouldn't be considered black, which reads as an explicit assure of black Mexicans. Skin tone preference is rooted in anti-blackness and anti-indigeny. The social cascade system has long affected Mexico, enabling a preference for lighter skin tones in all facets of society and erasing black, indigenous, or non-dominant racial and ethnic populations for not fitting the country's long-standing ideal of Mexicans being a mestizo race, i.e. mostly light to tan skin with European features and dark hair. Those who don't fit that description suffer in economic status, educational opportunities, career possibilities, policing, violent crimes, sexualization, etc., and are viewed as less beautiful and desirable. That will inevitably affect someone on a reality TV dating show trying to find love. Black contestants on reality TV dating shows in the United States have long struggled when they are met to compete for the affections of people who clearly have no interest in dating black people. Perpetuating cycles of racism in this genre are strongly implying to viewers that white people are the most desirable and deserving of love. It gets far more complicated in a country that refutes the existence of structural racism and strongly believes it is a post-racial, despite countless studies and anecdotes that have proven otherwise. So, could love actually be blind considering all of this? Inside the Love is Blind brutal conditions on set, Love is Blind cast members told us they were psychologically manipulated, funneled alcohol by producers, and paid $7.14 an hour. Now they're suing Netflix and fighting to change the industry of reality TV. Love is Blind cast member reaches $1.4 million settlement with Netflix in class action lawsuit over unpaid wages and wage theft. Jeremy Hardwell, who appeared on the second season of the reality dating show, said producers underpaid the cast and crew and denied them meal breaks and lunch breaks. Eldamy Hardwell, a cast member on the second season of Netflix reality TV show Love is Blind, has reached a settlement with the streaming service and the show's production company in a class action lawsuit he filed in 2022 over a panoply of labor violations, including unpaid wages and wage theft, according to documents filed Wednesday. Hartwell, acting as a class representative, and Netflix have agreed to settle the class action lawsuit for just under $1.4 million to begin divide between attorneys and approximately 144 former cast and crew members. Hardwell was a 36-year-old director and entrepreneur when he appeared on season 2 of the show, which aired in 2022. He did not find love. He did, however, find reasons to sue the popular streaming service, as well as the show's production company, Kinnick Content. In the most recent version of his complaint, Hardwell accused Kinnick of creating unsafe, inhumane working conditions for the cast, including by maintaining excessive control over virtually every aspect of their lives on their show's cast and exerting complete dominance over their time schedule and their ability to eat, drink, and sleep, and communicate with the outside world. Cast members, Hardwell said, were piled with an unlimited amount of alcohol without meaningful or regular access to appropriate food and water to moderate their inevitable drunkenness and state. The combination of sleep deprivation, isolation, lack of food, and excess amount of alcohol consumption contributed to inhumane working conditions and altered mental state of mind for the cast. He added, "This is all done," he says, "all in the name of entertainment value and capitalism profits." Also said that Kendrick had misclassified its employees as independent contractors and had denied paying them a proper minimum wage and overtime pay or providing them with a mealtime break. Cast and crew members were required to work 20 hours a day and 7 days a week for $1,000 per week, and an effective minimum wage of $7.14 per hour. Hardwell is not the only member of the former cast to have sued Love is Blind reality TV show. Tran Dang, a woman who was filmed for season 5 but was later edited out of the show, sued another cast member for sexual assault, naming the production company as a co-defendant. Producers made attempts to mask plaintiff's sexual assault by characterizing it as a lack of attraction on the part of the plaintiff. Dang wrote in her complaint, when plaintiff insisted that assault took place, defendants Directlam TV and Kendrick Content questioned whether the problem was really one of communication and swept aside her concerns. Kendrick tried to force that dispute into arbitration, but that attempt was rebuffed. On Thursday, a Texas appeal court ruled that the production company was not liable for the sexual assault claims because the incident took place in Mexico. However, the company was still on the hook for other claims, including false imprisonment and negligence. In a legal fight of her own, Renez Poch, a former cast member who mostly edited out of the show, said she fell in love with another cast member who turned out to be a homeless and violent drug addict. She said that producers pressured her into continuing the relationship and romance, all the way up to the wedding altar, where she abruptly changed her mind and said, "I don't." In March, a judge ruled that Pochi was bound by her contract to work out her dispute in arbitration. Why is Netflix's Love is Blind hyposexualizing the only black woman who made it out of the pods? Reality TV shows are rooted in the sexual exploitation of women, and generally that means it's going to be super exploitative to black women and darker-skinned black women in particular. It all accumulated in the most recent episode, appropriately entitled Feeling Uncomfy, where Amber Desiree Smith, nicknamed AD, a beautiful brown-skinned black woman and former NFL cheerleader, was objectified and hyposexualized by other white cast members. From early childhood, black girls are subjected to stereotypes that frame them as inherently promiscuous or sexually aggressive, devoid of agency and respect. Ferdinand King continues, media portrayals often perpetuate those harmful narratives, reducing black women and girls to mere objects of desire or exotic fantasies. All of these participants always and inevitably reveal the lie about the show's premise that love is blind, added Roach. Ultimately, reality TV shows are rooted in the sexual exploitation of women. Love is Blind has a major issue with misogyny and sexism, as many male contestants on the reality TV dating show display blatantly discriminatory behavior towards women. Reality TV in general has a sexism and misogyny problem. You can see it on other shows such as Hell's Kitchen. and other dating reality TV shows. There are still countless men who brazenly display their sexism for all the world to see. It's a recurring issue that has grown more and more obvious with each season that is produced and makes the viewers deeply uncomfortable. Looking for examples of misogyny in Love is Blind reveals that almost every season has had at least a man with the audacity to make his narrow-minded views known, whether it's Bardice Baldwin publicly shaming Nancy Rodriguez for opinions on women's right to abortion in season 3, or Taylor Rue being criticized by Jared J.P. Pierce in the latest season for wearing makeup, or almost every word out of Albaski Sheikh Chatterjee's mouth on season 2. This show is rifled with infuriating instances of sexism and blatant misogyny. It is a series so focused on loving someone for their heart that men who refuse to do so are even continually featured on the show. Of course, it may come as a surprise that the producers, they act like this, as you rarely even predict how a person will act when put in front of the camera, but when you study the core themes of the show and the language used throughout the coupling process, you realize just how easy it makes for these men to feel like they have the right to say those things. If there's one thing that Love and Blind loves to do is mocking modern-day dating apps, in many ways, rightfully so, as many people have had terrible experiences with these applications and how these apps only really want capitalism profits at the end of the day. That often drives them to pursue more concrete forms of looking for a partner or auditioning for shows like this or dating. But despite this constant critique, when revealed that the series format bears many similarities in the same traits with the same technology it ridicules and despises, the participants literally hide behind a screen and they can present themselves in a very specific way that in many cases has revealed as inauthentic and can use their romance-based surroundings to conceal a more aggravating parts of their personality. Not only does this series represent the worst parts in dating apps, but its forced time frame it applies to contestants. It rushes them into very serious situations that might have considered for longer otherwise. It prides itself on the return to basics regarding love, but it forgets that traditional views often come with a wide variety of very toxic thoughts on how these traditional relationships should function. But in the wake of season 4, things have turned a corner for the dating show. It's not just a failed attempt at a live reunion, which prompted plenty of criticism for the show. Viewers also are calling out Love is Blind co-hosts for their alleged insensitivity in making certain comments, and former contestants are opening up about concerns regarding ethics and their mental health. Married couple Nick and Vanessa Lecce have hosted the show. On social media, viewers criticize Vanessa's lack of sensitivity and presuming that couples want or are able to actually have children. Brown responded to her questioning during the reunion, saying, "Jesus, y'all really put the baby pressure on." Vanessa also doubled down several times in several instances when asking contestant Paul Hedden why he didn't just think his partner on the show, Mazia Lucer, was nurturing or could envision her as a mother. Seemingly displeased with any explanation he offered, following the reunion taping, Predine told People, "I thought that I detected a little bit of personal bias there." A Twitter user named Ashley Avery tweeted, #LoveIsBlind. The reunion is always nauseating to watch because of Vanessa. She picks sides, cuts people off, bullies the male cast, pushes motherhood onto women, and genuinely tries way too hard to be cool. Netflix, please just let Nick do this solo. In a recent report from Business Insider, several contestants from previous seasons alleged that filming the show was a traumatic experience that included high levels of exhaustion, stress, insufficient meals, lack of sunlight, and panic attacks. They say producers just took advantage of it so they could film. Contestants also discussed the experience of facing high levels of online hate and threats when coming off the show. Season 4 contestant Jackie Bond said she did not attend the in-person reunion because she was receiving constant death threats.